What is going on, Minnesota Vikings fans? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. Sorry I'm late. Apologize. I'm trying to do arts and crafts here in my bedroom, and it's not working. God help any woman that I trick into loving me later in life, because I am not going to fix shit around your house. I'm sorry in advance. But the good news is we got the whole crew here, and it's an exciting day for Viking fans. Adam Carlson is here. How are you, sir?
I am sweaty. I apologize for that, but I got done with physical therapy today, and I am feeling a little beat. And I got my cat laying in front of me on my keyboard, and I have my brush out, and I am cleaning this cat.
Oh, I'm proud of you for going to PT. I kind of did the same thing. I did not want to leave, and as soon as I said it does not look like a gym day, it downpoured here in Virginia. So I rode my bike forever and ever and ever. And I am sweaty too. I did not get to shower before this, and I feel.
Now, when you say bike, you're talking like bicycle or a motorcycle?
Peloton, even worse than both.
Oh.
I needed to exercise today, and my hip hurts now.
Because I could kind of see you as a motorcycle guy.
You know, I want one. I do. I'm terrified, not of the bike, but of the idiots on the road, and I'm afraid I'm going to die by someone cutting me off.
Totally understood.
Someone just like smashing into me. And I don't want to go out like that. That would hurt. Although it would probably be fast. I might go a little early doing that. So I'm going to refrain from the motorcycle stuff. Hey, but you guys tell me in the comments why I should get a motorcycle. That'll be fun. Maybe you talk me into it. Kyle West, why should I get a motorcycle?
I don't think you should. They're super dangerous. But you know who can
smiling down right now.
You know who can afford lots of motorcycles? Justin Jefferson can afford a whole shitload of them. Big news on the contract front from JJ today. Like what Adam and I were talking about before we started and before you joined up on the show with us here, Smith, is that this is like the big off-season story that the Vikings needed to get done was a long-term extension for Justin Jefferson. I think that it was probably even more important than the Kirk Cousins decision was getting JJ locked up. And so it's super nice to have closure to this. Like, we can sit here, we can talk about it. You can love the contract, hate the contract. I think it was really smart. But this is like, we can move on towards football now. Like, we don't have to discuss trade rumors or contract rumors or hold-ins or holdouts at training camp. Like, it's done. He's here. We should all be happy. I'm super pumped. What do you guys think?
Yeah, this offseason was all about moving on from Kirk Cousins and then finding a way to get Justin Jefferson locked down long-term. And now that both of those are done, we can look at Minnesota now and be like, okay, this team is ready for 2024. And we can start looking ahead to the season instead of looking at what needs to be done still. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of focus is still going to shift towards, the Christian Darrisaw extension, which has to be coming soon. But, I mean, that's not necessarily this year, so there's no rush there. So now we can kind of relax a little bit, right?
Yeah, and Mike Florio can shut the hell up. Stop whining. That's my favorite part about all of this.
I've got this trade that might happen. Who says no?
Yeah, that's the thing that happened. I heard
the
today.
Vikings
sign and trade. We're not signing and trading this player. I don't want to beat a dead horse from last week, but you don't trade a player this good to go get draft picks to hope you land another player this good. I don't care what position it is. And
so, Smith, does Jamar Chase get more or less than Justin Jefferson?
I think CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase get more just because that's how it goes. I don't think they're going to be cool with their agents saying, hey, you're right behind Justin. It's like, hey, the cap just went up X amount of dollars, and you can give me literally $250,000 more. So that way they can say, but
they are all within the same ballpark, or at least they will be contractually. I think the dollar amounts probably won't vary that much between the three. I think where you'll see the difference is going to be in guaranteed money. I think Jefferson more than CD, like Jefferson's going to get more guarantees than what CeeDee Lamb is going to get. Jamar Chase, I think, will be right up there in terms of guaranteed money as well, too. I'm also biased. I hate the Dallas Cowboys.
I personally think that it'll be very close, like Kyle said. I don't know what exactly they want. I said this before. Now, money and an agent could certainly sway me. But if I were in this business, I would take the Kirk Cousins approach every time. I want fully guaranteed everything. If that means the total dollar amount goes down, that's okay. I know without a shadow of a doubt, I am going to get this much money regardless. And I find a number that I know, number one, I can retire immediately with, take care of my family, and then try to see how I can wiggle it for the later years to help myself. But in essence, that should help.
What did JJ just get for guarantees? Like
So
today,
signed a 4-year, $140 million contract with the Minnesota Vikings, which is 36.9 in a signing bonus, 110 million guaranteed, and a salary of $35 million even. But that translates differently. The cap hit this year is only $8.5 million. I still don't know how this works. I still don't understand how this money works. I thought if you had this amount of, let's just say for shits and giggles, to break it down to simple math, you have $100 for the entire team. How you spend it is how you see fit. Well, how is he getting a signing bonus? Where does that come from? How does it affect this year's cap? But is it not cap money, but it is? Does it come from a different pot? Like, how does that work? I don't know. The dead cap over here is insanity. If he was for some reason was to get cut, that would not happen.
What scenario would that ever happen in?
He finds some Darren Sharper charges and kills people too. I don't know.
Like, it would have to be pretty extreme.
Yeah, though it would have to be on that end. But
we're not worried about that. That's
cash. The cumulative cash for 2024, he will get $38 million this year, which he's already made. I think like 20 or 30 now. And then he's got his endorsements, which are completely separate. But I just want to go on my little rant here while it's up to say this cap is only going to go up. So much like the Patrick Mahomes deal, when everybody said that was stupid, in 3 years, when he's still on the team and hopefully J.J. McCarthy is hitting his Josh Allen trajectory up in the air. You remember how Josh Allen looked wild the first year and then he figured out his throwing motion and then he was just awesome ever since? Mm-hmm. I'm hoping 3 years from now, we look at this and be like, $35 million wasn't really that stupid, because what I care about is this right here. If you guys can see it, because I have it up here, the cap. 3.3% of the cap. That's crazy. How does that work? Make it make sense to me.
And Minnesota's going to have a ton of salary cap space the next few years. But I do want to tell you guys, like, when we're looking at these numbers, I could not care less what numbers were in that cash column. Does not matter to me one bit. The team can give him all the money they want. If it's not affecting the salary cap, I don't care.
And I'm glad you said that, Adam. There's a lot of my friends that are, sending me this. They're like, that's crazy. You're going to pay a non-quarterback for that. Like my friend Donnie. Shout out to Donnie. You're a Giants fan. Well, you paid Daniel Jones. He's like, well, you got Daniel Jones 2.0 at quarterback. I was like, well, the great thing about that is we don't. And we still have Justin Jefferson. You have hopefully a rookie who's good. I love this because of the obvious. You have a quarterback that essentially you don't have to pay for another 5 years. You can always do the 5th-year option. I don't know how this kid's going to be, especially with whatever agent he has. But the good part is the bulk of his rookie contract, 4 out of the 5 years, Justin Jefferson will be locked in here. Now, I don't know about no trade clauses or anything like that, but I do know this puts to rest anything before training camp starts. He put out – you guys have to watch the video. I genuinely believe this player when he said, I've been waiting on this day my entire life. I am fired up for him. He mentions God. He mentions his family. He gives a shout-out to everybody in the building. I'm so pumped that he's here. We don't have to worry about this. I don't care that he got hurt last year. I don't care that it's quarterback money, because look at what quarterbacks make now. They're, $50 million a year? 10 years ago, Aaron Rodgers made like $20 million a year. You guys don't know how money and inflation and caps work. It just keeps going up. So people are still hung up on this idea of this set number. Why? Why are we worried about this set number? You're right, Adam. Whatever the cap is all we should be concerned with. I don't care. I don't care what the number is. As long as it doesn't affect the team. And to your point earlier, Adam, to kind of tie it back in, they have other players that are good, that are young, they're going to have to worry about in the future. Not really the Jordan Addison, the J.J. McCarthy. Christian Darrisaw is going to get a payday. He's probably like top 5 tackle left or right in the league. He needs to get paid. Now they have the flexibility to do this.
I was trying to look it up while you were talking. I was listening to Rich Eisen was talking about it. I should have wrote it down earlier today. I couldn't find it quick. But he was talking about all of the records that Justin Jefferson has already broke. And he has broken records in the short time he's played set by the likes of, Calvin Johnson, Randy Moss, like Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. He's broken these records and he's set them for the Vikings, and he's on pace to continue with that trajectory. We're not just
saying this kind of stuff about Blair Walsh. I remember that.
little bit different position here. A little bit better of an athlete in Justin Jefferson than Blair Walsh. But I mean, we're not just talking about a receiver in the league that got paid a bunch of money. We're talking about legitimately one of the 2 or 3 best wide receivers in the league. And you can make an argument for, outside of the quarterback position, one of the probably top 5 overall best players in the NFL at the moment in Justin Jefferson. Yeah, you kind of want to keep him on your team. And I think the Vikings are doing a really good job building in this window. And the window kind of starts this year, but like the Super Bowl window for this team really opens up in 2025. And like what you were saying, Smith, you hope that you hit on J.J. McCarthy and that you can build this team around him. You've got Jefferson locked in. You've got all these weapons, all these pieces in place for him to succeed. You can't say they didn't try. Like, you can't say that about the current GM and head coach of this team. They're trying. I'm not saying that it's going to work, but they're out there giving it their best.
But this is the formula. You're right. This is the formula to make the attempt. And I like that they've made the effort that I don't think Spielman and Zimmer would have made. No disrespect to them. You guys know I love them, and I hope Zimmer does great in Dallas. I don't see them taking that swing to go up. Like, they made money moves to like come in and get Teddy Bridgewater at the end round. He wasn't as high up and highly graded as J.J. McCarthy. They tried to get Drake May. I applaud them for making the effort. It didn't work, but they're trying to do it. And here's the best part. Guess how much – if Adam knows, it's fine. But guess how much cap space we still have this year?
$8.
Enough for Pizza Ranch, right? $27.491 million. $27.5 million. They still have. And I'm looking here. So the percentage is kind of crazy. But the cap hit this year, Brian O'Neill, TJ Hawkinson, Byron Murphy, Harrison Phillips, Justin Jefferson. Those are your top 5. Brian O'Neill, $22 million. You kind of need a right tackle. But there's a large gap from there. 14 for TJ, 10.9 for Byron Murphy, 8 and 8 for Harrison Phillips and Justin Jefferson. When we go to the cash total, still kind of the same thing, right? Jefferson leads everyone. Jonathan Gennard, Brian O'Neill, TJ Hawkinson, Sam Darnold, and Blake Cashman right behind him. I don't know how this works, but they've managed to figure it out. Now, if this team can just not piss away draft picks and just nail half of it, they're in a great position for the future with this and with the cap space they have.
So let's talk about 2 different things here, because first of all, we've heard how the Vikings have gotten scrutinized recently for how they gave away those early picks, not a first rounder, but early picks in the 2025 NFL draft. And I'm kind of wondering, do you still feel like Minnesota didn't really jeopardize too much to go and get J.J. McCarthy, or do you still feel good with what Minnesota was able to do?
I feel good because I feel like they got one of their top 1 or 2 or 3 prospects that they wanted at the quarterback position in J.J. McCarthy. They still got their first-round pick for next year. We have no idea how it's going to work out with Sam Darnold. So that could be a fairly high draft pick. I mean, we all kind of think they're going to take a step back without Kirk. So, I mean, you're looking at adding a fairly high first-round draft pick to a team that's probably going to be really good in the next couple years, like Smith said.
But now,
if you hit on those picks, you're doing pretty good.
Jefferson had said he was waiting to see what the quarterback situation in Minnesota was going to be like before he signed a long-term extension. Well, now he's had an opportunity to see JJ McCarthy in OTAs and things like that. Do you think he liked what he saw enough to finally sign a deal, or do you think it was just, it's time and I want to stay here? How big of a factor do you think McCarthy in training camp, in OTAs, was in getting that deal done?
Can I be perfectly honest?
I hope you will.
I always am. The amount of money they gave Justin Jefferson is, I don't give a shit who my quarterback is money. I mean, he's a professional. He's going to have his...
He's getting paid quarterback money. He's like, what do you mean quarterback? He's like, I am the quarterback.
But
right?
we have to remember that money is not the major factor for every player in the NFL. And we know that, like, we've seen players take hometown discounts and take less money to go somewhere where they feel they can win. Justin Jefferson could have very easily said, I want to go to a contender.
Right.
And like not sign, and then go sign with Kansas City after this year.
Could have happened. He's happy to be here. I mean, they paid him a lot of money to be here. He's happy to be here. He likes Minnesota. I believe him in that. What's nice about this contract is that with it only being a 4-year, hey, if the wheels have fallen off the wagon and it doesn't work with JJ McCarthy, he's going to hit free agency and he can, more power to him. He can chase that ring and take a discount on another franchise to go out and do that. So he's getting the best of both worlds, really.
Because I have seen other fans of other NFC North teams talking about how how Justin Jefferson screwed himself over with this deal because he's putting himself in a Calvin Johnson situation where he's playing for a team that is not a contender. He's wasting his prime years there.
And anyone who thinks that is really assuming JJ McCarthy is gonna like absolutely stink.
You know what's funny? I've been wanting to say this particular phrase on this show for so long, and I've always thought about it either after we get off the air or with my friends. You know what I fucking hate? It's just when you look at these TV shows, and it could be any sports analyst, but they say, and even Pat McAfee's guilty of it. I love Pat. Shout out to Pat McAfee. This is not aimed towards you, but it even happened on his show. They say, well, you know, they draft Caleb Williams, they draft this quarterback, blah, blah. They're set for the next 10 to 15 years. When the fuck does that ever happen? When does 10 to 15 years of any player in any position stay? We haven't even had Harrison Smith for 15 years. We're over here like, good golly, he's been here for 12 years. He's a dinosaur.
And you as well, if you ask any of us, we'll all say Andrew Luck for the Colts was a successful quarterback.
Absolutely.
And his career was not long.
Anything that you just rounded my point, Adam. Anything can happen at all. Sam Bradford is a great one. I have never seen a person throw a football with such perfection in every single way than Sam Bradford. He threw the prettiest football I've ever watched in my entire life. He might not have thrown it the farthest or the fastest, but it was perfect in every way. And look what happened to him. Look what happened to Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he's a hometown story. We thought for sure those preseason games, he sold all of us a dream. Like, oh, shit, we're going to the NFC Championship game this year. And just like that, your team is crushed. And who's to say Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, whomever, it doesn't have to be necessarily those teams. But what happens when that Adrian Peterson injury happens and you don't come back the same? Or you get one too many concussions and you're a Tua Tagovailoa away from working at CVS the rest of your life because you can't walk straight anymore. I'm not saying that I want that to happen. You don't.
And you have no idea with draft picks. I mean, you're talking about like, oh, like we drafted Caleb Williams. We're set for the next 10 years at quarterback. You hope so. It's a different position, but I mean, we were all sold on Matt Khalil being the 10-year answer at left tackle.
He looked amazing at the beginning.
And he did, but it didn't work. It did not work out long term the way any of us expected it would with Matt Khalil. So you don't know.
I just wish that those people who say it's okay to say like we don't like JJ McCarthy, but I wish that people were smarter, and I wish the whole world would elevate their intelligence when they talk shit, just 0.2%, because what you're trying to say is I don't like JJ McCarthy, and I'll say okay, why? But they're like, oh, you really screwed yourself, Justin Jefferson. It's like, okay, but this could also happen to you, and it could happen to Rome Odunze, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, whatever your player is on your team in this division. I'm like, okay, well, he sucks and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, who's to say your player is not going to be terrible? What happened? Or even better, what if your player looks really good? Adam's not going to like this analogy, but what if I think a player is really fucking good, but the coach they have is just dog shit?
Yeah.
Look at Justin Herbert.
It happens.
Yeah.
He's got Jim Harbaugh now, but he had to be in purgatory for 4 years. I don't know how that coach lasted in LA for the last 2 years. He was awful. So you look at, okay, all these variables can happen, but they're like, well, Justin Jefferson really screwed himself. And I'll answer your question 10 minutes later, Adam. I think it doesn't even matter who the quarterback is. He could say two things. Look at the Detroit game when I had Nick Mullins just slinging the ball to me. He's like, I'd catch from anybody. I caught touchdowns from Josh Dobbs, or did he? No, he wasn't around when Dobbs was here. So I've caught touchdowns from X number of quarterbacks. I'll work with any quarterback. I think he just has supreme confidence in himself. And on that second point, 2A, 2B, this coach and this team, they are going to say, this is your offense. This is where it starts. Follow him, and everything else will be easy. He knows
So
he's
how
got
do
it
you feel
made
dumping
here.
such a huge investment in a player when Minnesota's been working to build around him more weapons to take that pressure off him? I mean, Addison was a big pick at first round, and they spent arguably too much money extending TJ Hawkinson. And now you've got these other weapons around, and you're trying to figure out, okay, we gave Justin Jefferson all this money, and, last year, I don't hold injuries against any player, but he did miss time. And in those games, we did see Addison step up. Are we going to see a little bit of problem with the development or involvement of the other players now that this massive contract is landing on Justin Jefferson?
No, I don't think so.
My question for you, Adam, is like, in what way do you think it might, or is there an angle that you're thinking of for motivation here? Because if I'm him and I have $110 million guaranteed, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to go play and say, hey, look, I know what I can do.
So you are not going the Stephon Diggs approach, where you're not getting enough targets?
I would hope.
I mean, I don't think he would care.
I would hope that.
Why would you? You're making quarterback money,
right?
Diggs is making pretty good money.
It's true.
But I would hope that you're paying your best players on your team the most money to be there. So you shouldn't have to worry about,
But are you paying Justin Jefferson to hold Jordan Addison back?
I'm not worried about Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't think that would work. I don't think it would be bad. I think it would be a worse situation if he was.
I mean, you shared in our chat the other day about him working on his release and his separation, and that doesn't matter if he doesn't get footballs thrown his way.
But I don't think that the Vikings are not coaching this team going, oh, well, now that Justin Jefferson got this big contract, now we got to give him 75% of the plays on offense and fuck everyone else because he's getting this much money. That's not how you coach a team. You're paying your best players.
You are thinking about the ego of these wide receivers, though.
Justin Jefferson was going to get the amount of touches he's going to get because he's talented. He's going to get more than Addison because he's more talented than Addison.
Well, that too, but also if you're as good as you're getting paid, which I think we all agree he is, he's going to get open, and he's going to get open thanks to a well-built team. I think the worst case scenario,
he's going to get double covered. He's going to get triple covered. That's going to open up for Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson and whoever our running back committee is to make plays on the team.
I think the worst situation that could have happened for him is he goes to, and even though they're good now, like a team forever that was like Cleveland or something like that, where they never got the quarterback situation right. They still don't. That's your own fault because he's a fucking terrible person. But
should have kept Baker.
You should have kept Baker Mayfield, who won you a playoff game.
The Vikings didn't fall into that trap.
Oh, thank God. But to say you go to a team like that, like before they built themselves well now, because they're very talented at a lot of positions now. But forever, Cleveland just couldn't get this or this right. But they always had a piece. They always had a this guy, a that guy. Well, what if you're the only dude and you like basically every game is Ocho Cinco walking up to Bill Belichick? He goes, you can take today off, man. We're double teaming you the whole day. And he's like, come on, coach. He's like, oh, you got two people following you all day. Cool. But if you have a well-built team like we do,
we hope we do.
Go ahead.
We hope we do.
Right? I mean, we saw it last year. This team, the offense did great. It was the defense that was, and I saw the team go, okay, there was a drop off when Kirk wasn't there, sure, but you can see like the formula building. You have this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Okay, well, if you're going to move assets over here, that means that this part of the field is going to be open for these two guys. So good luck figuring out like how you do it for everyone.
But it's that old time saying, you know, do too many cooks spoil the broth.
I just think it gives them the quarterback as many weapons as you need.
Now, if you have an unselfish team and you've got teammates that don't mind sharing and distributing the ball, that's fine. But if you got a wide receiver that wants that throw share, wants balls thrown his way, that can be trouble. I don't know if that's going to be an issue in Minnesota. I don't think it will be. But it might be something to pay a little attention to.
I think.
Also, did you guys get that weird NFL notification today on your phone that said that Justin Jefferson is like one of the prime candidates to be the cover athlete of Madden 25?
Nice.
No, I didn't get that.
No, I didn't.
Madden
That
first.
was the weird notifications. Like, okay, so you're sending me a notification saying Justin Jefferson might be on the cover of the next Madden game?
Yeah, might be.
What?
Why don't we just wait and tell us who is, or have some big release day? I don't know. That's weird.
Do you want him on the cover of Madden? Do you guys believe in the Madden curse?
Couldn't care less.
Do you care?
I'm trying to remember. He wasn't on the Madden cover last year and he got hurt. So
Adrian
Peterson, I don't know.
Adrian Peterson was on there. What happened with him the season that Peterson was on the cover of Madden? Anything?
Oh no, not the curses.
I don't think so. But I think to answer another part of your point, Adam, I think if I'm Jordan Addison, this only makes me happier because you see that they will commit to somebody, especially a wide receiver, even though he's probably like, oh, I'm probably not going to get Justin Jefferson money. But look at the guys that he's comparable to. I think he could be like a Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle just got $28 million.
Waddle just got paid.
And good for you. But we're still in shell shock as fans because we're like, we've never seen this. Aaron Rodgers was making $20 million in 2010 or something, or 2011, like right when he broke into MVP, Super Bowl winning like part of his career. And you're like, that's a shitload of money. And then we look back now and we're like, that's what backup quarterbacks make now. That's crazy. So I don't know. If I'm Jordan Addison, this is true. I think to your point, Adam, yeah, okay. If you have someone who has an ego problem, I think that goes beyond, oh, I want the ball. I think that's just a locker room kind of cancer.
Well, we also have like a new quarterback. What if he has a better connection with Addison than he does with Justin Jefferson? I mean, that happens all the time.
It's true, but then again, I would look at it and say, you know what? You're getting paid like a quarterback.
Listen to this. I just Googled and I found an article from 2001 about Randy Moss. Let me read this line. Based on annual averages, Moss is now the highest paid non-quarterback in the league and third richest player overall behind Drew Bledsoe and Brett Favre.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. I'm trying to find what the money. I want to know what they paid Moss back in the day.
Oh, you are not going to like those numbers. But I've seen on posts too. It said these players are getting paid way too much these days. And it's like, okay, so what are they going to do? Pay the players less and let the owners and everything keep the money? Let the rich get richer up there? They're trickling it down to the players. What the heck?
So I'm going to say something, Adam. I agree with you 100%. We're all about players getting paid. Like, I know it probably sounded like I was talking shit about Jalen Waddle just now. I'm not. Dude, go get your bag. Good for
him.
You're more talented in your pinky than I am in my whole body. I understand. Go ahead, Kyle.
Listen to what they paid Randy Moss. Look at this bargain. It was an 8-year, $75 million contract with an $18 million signing bonus. That's it.
Nothing. And
that's
NFL
it.
Money, nothing.
That's what they paid Randy Moss in 2001, folks.
That's wild, dude. But to your point, Adam, we're talking about the rich get richer. Should we not pay the players? You have to pay the players are the only reason you watch. So I've never understood that argument. Same thing for the NCAA. I think we need to abolish the NCAA. We need to get rid of that entity entirely and figure that shit out. All it takes is 5 major schools to be like, fuck you guys, we're not doing this anymore. And it'll fall. Who's going to be the first person to take that lead? I don't know. But to your point, I saw an article today. Shout out to my friend Donnie again. He sent this to me. We're all, working in Charlotte. They're still there. These are all my Charlotte people. So by trade, we have Panthers stuff floating around all the time. We go to the soccer games, all these things, right? The Panthers Stadium was built in like 1995, I think, or 96. So it's old. It's like 30 years old. outdoor bowl stadium with 2 levels. There's nothing special about it. They've done some renovations inside to make the inside areas look nice, but so they're asking for $650 million to do stadium renovations. And the first thing I said back was, hey, asshole, how about you, billionaire? Why don't you pay for it and build a new fucking stadium instead of polishing the turd that sits downtown? How's that sound?
Why doesn't Carolina put a team together worth watching first?
That first, that's the underlying major point. But
Yeah.
I hate that shit. And I know Minnesota did it. It looks good now, but these guys have all this money. By the way, if you have that much collateral, it's just like having an infinite credit score. All you have to do is go to the bank and say, I need this much money. This will pay you back in 10 years, and I'll put down this percentage of it to start.
The
Why can't
pushback on
they do
US
that?
Bank Stadium when that was getting built was massive. There were so many people, I don't want my taxes going towards that. And, you know, all those taxes are paid off and the stadium's making money for the city, bringing in big concerts, big events. I mean, they got SummerSlam coming up in 2026 and things like that. I mean, it is bringing some great stuff in.
What are we're talking about? Well, I brought up the Panthers talking about their thing today.
Yeah, speaking of the Panthers, I got to ask you, have you seen those Panthers CP hats?
No.
They are Panthers colors, and I don't know if you know, like, in legal jargon, what CP stands for.
Maybe I should.
It's I'll give you a hint. The C stands for child.
Okay. Yes.
And the P stands for not good material.
Oh.
Yes. So
I don't know if you want to be walking around with a CP hat on.
They've got child pizza hats out there. Holy good God.
And I guess they're sold out on the NFL shop.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Well, that's funny. I can't wait to talk about that with my friends. I did not know that. I've not even heard of this. But yeah, Mike, to answer your question, we're talking about the Panthers asking the owner, that jerk owner that likes to throw things at fans from opposing teams. He's asking for $650 million in stadium renovations. I've been to that stadium like 10 to 15 times in my life for all kinds of things. It's fine to watch a game because it's so old and small. You kind of feel close. But after you go to SoFi and you go to US Bank, even the one in Houston that's been around forever is better than that shithole. And it's like, why don't you just get a new one? And that's always been my argument is you have all this money. You don't have to give every single bit of everything your net worth is, but you have the collateral with a bank, and it shows in history like, hey, I'm going to take a loan out for 10 years. It's going to be $2 billion. I want to pay you back in 10 years. How can I pay this back? Okay, I'm going to do it with this, this, and this. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not an economics major. I'm not a businessman. But I feel like that would work because it's kind of in essence, okay, the state of Minnesota took the taxes from people, paid for the stadium. They paid it off. Now they're making money on it. That stadium hasn't been there for 10 years, but they paid it off already? How the hell did you do that? So why can't they do that with a bank? Why can't they be the reason that happens? Because I couldn't believe, and I'm more mad about them saying, well, we want to do renovations. That stadium is 30 years old. There's nothing to renovate.
What are you renovating?
That shit.
Yeah.
Demolish that thing. I don't understand that at all. But I
really liked the way the Metrodome felt when I was watching Vikings games there. But yeah, US Bank Stadium is a completely different beast.
It's so cool. Oh, I geeked out so hard when I did the tour there. I was like, how long is this tour? They're like, it can be up to 3 hours. I was like, can we make it 4? I'll stay here all day. Who we got week 1? We are at the New York Giants, Mike, and I'll do a shameless plug. If you go back a couple weeks ago, I know we had cool stuff. I hate that we went away from it because Adam's very clever, but I tried to name the episodes now so you know what we're talking about directly. So it should be the schedule release. We talk about the schedule. Last week we did our wins and loss predictions. He said W. Yeah, we all agreed that the Giants are trash and we should win that game. Hopefully. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, there you go. Who would you rather extend, Justin Jefferson or Daniel Jones?
I don't know. Daniel Jones finally got a wide receiver, and Justin Jefferson couldn't do anything with 2 great ones.
It's true. I hope they fail. I'm glad Daniel Jones got paid. You fucking con artists. The Giants are so stupid. You had Brian Daboll, who I don't know how much the offensive coordinator grooms and like makes the quarterback better. But Josh Allen looked damn good while he was there. And you went and you got Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is going to get Brian Daboll fired. And I think that's sadly hilarious.
Well, they already chose Daniel Jones over Saquon Barkley, which was interesting.
That was so stupid. And he went to of course he went to the Eagles. Of course he did.
Speaking of that, though, the tampering charges are supposed to be cleared out sometime this week. There's supposed to be some kind of announcement.
Yeah, you think we'll get a draft pick?
I forgot this earlier. Well, here's a good segue, Kyle. I'm glad you said that. According to Over the Cap, Minnesota is expected to receive a third-round comp pick after losing Kirk Cousins in free agency. So not only are they going to get probably a third-round comp pick for Cousins leaving, I doubt it, but maybe they'll get something else for tampering. That'd be cool. Wes, what's going on, man? He says, what's up, guys? Picked the perfect night to do the show. I need some football talk. I have to take my wife to the ER, be in there all day. Everything's good now. Well, that was what I was going to ask after reading the first part. Glad she's all right. What are your thoughts, Wes and Mike? We're talking about Justin Jefferson getting his payday today. We all think it's very smart. I think in a couple of years, it won't look as crazy as it sounds right now. And you got a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal. I mean,
I've been on X now for the past couple of weeks telling people, be ready for Jefferson to get 35. Be ready. It's coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people were ready for that because I still saw a lot of people saying how much they overpaid. But
yeah, a lot of people.
Production from it, I don't believe you can say he's overpaid.
And a lot of people act like that money is coming out of their personal bank account. And I understand the finances of how you build a team. I also don't care that much what the Vikings pay their players. Like, hey, figure the cap out. We say this all the time. It's funny money. Salary cap hardly exists half the time anyway. They'll be okay. Like I said, this team right now feels like they have a plan in place. And I'm not saying that it's going to work and that they're going to win a Super Bowl. I make no guarantees, but it feels like there is a direction that they are headed in and that they are building towards. The past, and looking back and reflecting on it, probably the past 7 years of Rick Spielman, guys, there was no real long-term plan for what he was doing with the team. It was just, we'll extend this guy because he's a good player, and we'll sign these guys in free agency. And it doesn't matter if they don't fit with what we're trying to do. It's the guys I want to bring in. And there was no real structure with what they were doing, I don't think.
Yeah, keeping the band together is good when the band is a championship team. But when you are a fringe playoff team and you're trying to keep the band together and just improve that little bit more, it's not good.
Yeah.
So I have here, and I just want to use this as a reference point because I hear this one a lot too, Adam, and I know, Kyle, you hear this as well. Well, that's a lot of money. No team is going to win the Super Bowl paying their wide receiver that much. Okay. So here we have the San Francisco 49ers. Before I even say a word about this, you guys would consider them to be a good football team, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good football team.
Pretty damn
They've got
good
a great roster. I think a great coach. I still am not fully sold on Brock Purdy, but he's doing what he has to there. Now, if you put him on the Panthers, I think he would look like shit. You put Patrick Mahomes on the Panthers, they're probably going to run the NFC South for a couple of years. You see my point there, right? But I'm not here to shit on Brock Purdy. Let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. So your highest paid player there is a left tackle. Your second highest is a wide receiver. Your third a corner. Your fourth a defensive end. Your fifth a running back. I don't see a quarterback there anywhere in the top 11.
No, like you said, you can get away with the 49ers can get away with that right now because Brock Purdy
Minnesota gave the 49ers a backup quarterback $10 million. The Vikings did, so I mean,
yeah.
So my point for this is, unless you find a Patrick Mahomes, which 31 other teams still have not, you can configure your roster. And to the point for the 49ers specifically, I thought for sure, I always forget about Trent Williams. He's a freaking dinosaur, but he's still very good.
Hey, pull up the Green Bay Packers on this. Now I'm curious.
I will do that just a second.
Yeah. Yep.
So here we're looking. We got Trent Williams. I thought McCaffrey and Bosa would be second and third. But my point is, they are doing the same damn thing we are doing. They just have different positions. And ours will look very similar to this soon because our left tackle's going to get paid a shitload of money.
Yeah.
I wish we had a good enough corner to get paid that much, but we've got good defensive ends. We've got this and that. I don't understand that. I cannot for the life of me. Well, you're no team that wins the Super Bowl has a top, the highest paid wide receiver. Do they have the highest paid corner? Do they have the highest paid defensive end? Well, that's a diva. Okay, what the fuck is your point then? There's 22 positions on the field. There's 22 guys on the field at all times. Because you don't like this position, you're going to say that? This team right here is doing the same thing that we're doing because they have a rookie quarterback. I can't make sense. All right, I'm going to look up the Packers real quick.
Yeah, I'm curious. Pull up Green Bay on that. I just want to see what they're paying.
Who their highest guy is?
Yeah, who their highest guy is.
It's got to be their corner, right?
Ooh, okay. You guys could guess before I put it up here. The number 3, you would never guess in a million years. Any guesses? I would have on number 1, 2, and 3.
I have no idea.
Corner
Are
was
they
number
all
2.
Corners?
No. Jairus Alexander is number 2 at 23 for the cap hit, 23.9. Number 1, Kenny Clark, 27.4. Love that. Number 3, Elton Jenkins, the guard, 14.4 million. Good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Who did they replace Bakhtiari with?
Was he the right tackle?
Left.
Left tackle. Let's go by position. That's a lot easier.
Yeah, because I'm curious how it's going to go because he was great for so long there. I know he was injured for a lot of time recently, but when he is healthy, he is a beast.
I don't see a right tackle here. There's a shitload of tackles. They don't have them listed. Oh, we can look through. They all don't make a lot of money. The highest paid tackle is Royce Newman, 27 years old, $3 million. And everybody else makes $1 million or less. Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah, I guess Morgan Jordan's taking over at left tackle. Is he a rookie? Yep. I don't know Jordan Morgan.
Jordan Morgan. They still haven't. I guess they might have not have signed him yet because he doesn't have any numbers there. But let me put this up here so you can see. Sorry, I'm not sharing.
Yeah, this thing says he's number 77.
Here you go, Kyle. The Green Bay Packers financial summary for the year. Cap hit. Kenny Clark, defensive tackle. Jair Alexander, corner is number 2. Elton Jenkins, 3, guard. Preston Smith. And Jordan Love is right now making 12.7 whatever. He's going to get paid a lot of money if he has any kind of season like he had last year.
True.
So Lucas Van Ness is pretty young. Josh Jacobs, I forgot he was there. He just got injured. Speedy recovery to you. Xavier McKinney's a good player. They've drafted very well too.
Yeah, they have.
They aren't paying their wide receivers almost anything.
Yeah, let's look at that.
They got such a young group. I think they're mostly rookies.
Shit, that's a lot of wide receivers. 2.5, 1, 1, 1, and everybody else is less than $1 million.
Yeah, it's nothing. They're paying them.
That's smart. And then you can get rid of. They still have a lot of money in cap space up here. And then you look at if they do want to get rid of one of these guys, you just go draft another one. Wide receivers come out like candy every year. So
I think those teams that are good at drafting certain positions, and Green Bay seems to hit pretty well on receivers.
Yep. I hate that they got the quarterback right 3 in a row, but that's cool. Nice. Well, there you go. That's cool. Cool little nugget there.
Pro Football Focus recently released a list of their top 32 returning edge rushers, and both of Minnesota's signees this offseason, their outside linebackers, were included on the list.
They were.
Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard were both on the list, which is pretty cool.
This is a week late, but Van Ginkel still has not practiced due to that foot ailment. Just found that out today. But he should be on track. I'm hoping for training camp is what I read. So,
and even if he's not, maybe the rookie will be ready to step in until he is.
Yeah, training camp is what, August? Beginning of August, I think.
Let's see.
Sounds about right.
He's still got time coming up, and like you said, Dallas Turner has a lot of promise as well too. So I'm okay with him getting more reps if necessary.
I remember when the season ended, and I won't say everybody, but at least I was freaking out. It's like Minnesota has no edge rushers left. What are they gonna do? Everybody's talking about, they need to draft corners, they need a quarterback, and I'm like, they need somebody who's gonna get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
And now Minnesota went out and they signed those 2 edge rushers that both show some pretty good potential, and they got arguably the best edge rusher in the draft. So I mean,
Yeah.
I am not nearly as worried anymore.
I am never going to get used to the 3-4 terminology that they are using on defense right now, Adam. It's going to take me forever to pick that up. Defensive ends. They're defensive ends to me. That's what there always will be.
Yeah, people like to use that blanket term edge rusher, but there are those players that are defensive ends and they don't succeed well as outside linebackers. I do remember Jared Allen trying to move out to outside linebacker when he went to Chicago, and that was bad.
Sure.
That was interesting.
That was when he asked for a trade. He's like, can I just go somewhere else?
Yeah, this ain't working.
I tried to look it up. There's still no dates. There's nothing on the official website. And I looked it up. Shout out to Will Ragetz. He's a good Vikings personality to follow on Twitter. He wrote an article back in March, and it still hasn't been updated from his website. I think he was with the SI. They only gave you up to minicamp, which is the beginning of June, mandatory minicamp, first part of July. They're doing the last part of I think like OTAs next week. So still don't have any training camp dates. They're going to try to turn it into a fan event and sell stuff.
If I remember right, it's usually right around the first week of August.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll have a little time to chill. Did we talk about the potential changes last week? I don't know if we did. Potential changes in the offseason schedule?
Yeah,
they're looking to propose. I keep hearing about it over in like Cal Hurd and Rich Eisen, but I figured we could bring it up.
We touched on it a little bit. I think it's a smart move. I think it's a smart move for the NFL to do what's best for the players to get them, ready and active for the season. Especially like you said, with them adding extra games to it. Eventually, you're probably going to have 2 bye weeks, cutting down. When Roger Goodell is talking openly to the public about chopping it down to 2 preseason games, this is coming soon. That we're going 2 preseason and another extra game on the schedule with an extra bye. So I think that's just a matter of time.
Holy shit, they need to do this better. The new CBA took effect in 2021 and will run through 2030. They cannot do 10-year collective bargaining agreement. They have to do that shit in 5s. That's so stupid. What if there's something crazy going on and you needed to change it? That's crazy.
Expires so July 28th for $50. You can go and attend a VIP party and meet Chris Carter and hang out for a little while at the Omni Vikings Lakes Hotel.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty nice little event. If I lived locally, I'd definitely try to do it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to stay at that hotel sometime. That place looks amazing.
It's cool. I pulled in the parking lot there waiting before I got to go in and see the facility, and it is massive. It's nice. So how long before JJ contract gets beat? It depends on the Dallas Cowboys if they're going to stick with their plan. What's this stupid thing that Jerry Jones said?
Literally anything.
He said,
how about them Cowboys?
It's not trust the process. It's something along those lines. But basically, it's like we're all in. They're going all in on the same team they had. So we're going to see how all in you are on CeeDee Lamb and everyone else. You're not all in on Dak Prescott because you didn't pay him. So
the most overrated wide receiver in NFL history, Chris Carter.
That's funny that people.
I still can't believe that was a thing.
Yeah,
people were serious about that.
Who is the most overrated wide receiver?
Odell Beckham Jr.
It's got to be for us anyway.
It's Odell, 100%. When has he ever replicated anything out of that sort? I remember even while he was a New York Giant, he was Xavier Rhodes' son every time he played the Vikings. All you had to do was be physical and jam him at the line, and he's crying the whole game. It's wild.
Michael Crabtree? Was Michael Crabtree overrated?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He was good. He was pretty good.
Don't be Chris Carter's small guy.
As long as Crabtree ain't going to go coming at him with that weak stuff.
Victor Cruz. I liked Victor Cruz.
No, I'll argue with you on that, Mike. You got to go look up. I don't know if it was a preseason game, but I know it was against the Jets. The Jets played the Giants, and about 4 plays into there's a video of this on TikTok. They're like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" They're like shouting his number out, and he's just killing the cornerbacks for the Jets. They're like, "Oh yeah, this was Victor Cruz's coming out party." I'm not saying he's, Megatron or anything, but I don't think he's overrated. I just think those teams, especially those Giants teams, get a bad rep because Eli was the quarterback. Because Eli should never have won 2 Super Bowls, let alone one. But he did somehow. Oh, that's crazy. Kind of like Joe Flacco. He's all right. Like, I like Joe Flacco. I like the story of him. But he just had that 1 year where it's like, you just have to be good for 4 games.
And he wasn't even good that whole year. That was the thing. He was hot at the right time.
He got hot at the right time, and he literally was perfect in the playoffs. I think it was 11 touchdowns, no picks in 4 games. Pretty fucking good. And obviously, you're playing the best of the best, but I don't know. Most overrated wide receiver ever. Who got a lot of clout and a lot of recognition, but was like, because I'm only thinking of our era. It's hard to remember all those from back in the day.
Yeah, it's easier to think of the underrated guys, the guys that don't get enough respect.
Yeah.
When you think about the guys that got too much, it's like, it's hard to think about.
I'll tell you one he's a Hall of Famer, but I love I will always go to bat for any reason for Steve Smith. God, he was so much fun.
Yeah.
I got a little hate over this one, but I think AJ Green might have been a little overrated.
I can see why. I can see why.
Or maybe it was just the red rifle. I don't know.
How dare you talk badly about the red rifle? Him and Trevor Lawrence are the same quarterback.
Oh, no.
Didn't you send that, Kyle?
Yeah.
They have like identical stats, and people are losing their shit on the internet. They're like, you can't do that to Sunshine. It's like, well, he kind of did it to himself.
Did you guys see the video of Tommy Kramer meeting with J.J. McCarthy?
Oh, no. That's really cool.
No, he, thanked him for letting him wear the number 9, and they shared a nice little quick conversation, and it was very respectful and nice, and I liked it.
I love that. Show nothing but support, which if you follow him on Twitter, he just wants the team to win a championship. So it's like,
yeah, that's cool.
I'm associated with you guys forever. I want to see you win one. So I love that. I love those guys. Him and Chuck Foreman, they're always fun to see on, social media and all that stuff. It's so much fun.
Chuck Foreman's one of those guys, if you ever get the chance to meet him live or in person, you need to go do it because he doesn't have much of a filter. So he's one of those guys you can actually have an honest conversation with.
Nice. Yeah, definitely genuine. Well, we wanted to cover the JJ news. We kind of figured this was going to be it. I'm happy. We'll just review before we head out because I don't think we have anything else to talk about right this moment. But I personally am happy. I don't think it's too much. It's kind of one of those things where you say, it's just like these quarterbacks. Like, is Trevor Lawrence worth $50 million a year? Never leave your lady around, Chuck. It's amazing.
He is a smooth operator, that guy. Dude,
it's any of those guys from that era, especially the 70s and the 80s. Man, I don't even want to say it. The things that your mom or your grandmother would do back in the day.
There's a joke to be made about Adrian Peterson and not leaving him around your kids.
Oh, no.
But yeah, the Justin Jefferson stuff, I mean, it's kind of like we were just talking about Trevor Lawrence. Is he worth $50 million? That's not the question. We know Justin Jefferson is. This is how the numbers go right now for the snapshot in time of the NFL. $35 million sounds like a lot, but the cap is also like 250 something. Okay, cool. And then knowing how they move stuff around, we just said it. I wish I still had it up. Maybe it's in my history here. He's what, 3% of the cap this year? Who cares? To Adam's point, we have to steal that line and say it forever. I don't care what the money is overall. I don't care what the average is for the year. What part of the cap are you messing up right now? That's it. And it's not very much. So shout out to the cap guy for the Vikings. What is his name? Rob?
Yeah, Rob Brzezinski.
Dude, keep him here forever. He's doing a great job. And this is, I mean, you guys agree, right? This is the formula. if you're going to have a rookie quarterback, you're going to push all your chips in on, then you can pay a guy like this. Who else on the team? That's a question we'll ask for you. If it wasn't Justin, if we didn't have Justin Jefferson on the team, let's just say we had, wide receiver from whatever team that's okay, but not generational. Like, he's all right. Who was the guy on the team that's going to who's going to be the highest paid right now? Is it Christian Darrisaw?
Yeah.
Yeah, Darisaw's next on the list.
So if he was your highest paid player, would everybody bitch about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You got it. Somebody's going to be the highest paid player or highest paid player. Why you got to complain about everything? It's going to be somebody. So why not be the guy like Kyle had mentioned that's just set records? It's funny too. They put that picture up and you put it in the chat, Kyle, of him and CeeDee Lamb together, and I commented on it. I was like, I am not taking anything away from CeeDee Lamb because I appreciate him having a great year last year. Justin Jefferson was hurt. If Justin Jefferson wasn't hurt, these numbers wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he didn't play in these games, but you got to remember, even the start to his career was stupid. For whatever reason, Mike Zimmer didn't start him until week 3.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
What are you doing? Like,
all right, let's show a quick. Did you guys know that Steve Hutchinson is working with the Seattle Seahawks, scouting their offensive linemen for the last few years?
No, I did not know that.
Nice.
He is.
Huh.
Apparently, he is very good at it and enjoys it, so I'm happy for him.
Well, I wish he would be doing that for Minnesota.
Yes, thank you for not being here, thinking that not supporting us. Maybe the Vikings didn't offer him that, and I redact that statement. That's cool.
But it would be kind of cool. Like, we all want some former players to come back and coach, but not everybody's going to be great at it. I know we've seen, like, sometimes, like, well, get Randy Moss in here to coach wide receivers. It's like, no.
No.
No, but I'll take Terrence Newman in here to whip up these cornerbacks into shape. Any dude that could play corner at 36 years old and play that good, I don't care what it is. Put him in as a coach.
I always thought it was cool with Scott Studwell being the director of, college scouting for the team. Like, that was neat.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's cool when these former players can come back to an organization that they played for and contribute in another way. Because Hutchinson was amazing. Just absolutely great. No, they are not. I think the worst has to be Mike Singletary.
Oh. Oh.
Didn't Jared Allen have some weird quote a couple days ago that came out that everyone was like, huh?
Oh,
what
yeah.
What was that?
He was talking about paying Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, what was his take? Didn't he have some weird take?
Here, I'll look it up. I threw my phone on the floor so it'll stop going on. I'm literally the most popular person when I do the podcast.
There have been so many weird takes as far as, like, Vikings players, and especially as Justin Jefferson stuff brings out the worst.
Here you go. Here, I got you. Just give me a second. I'll go through our photos in here because you definitely sent that.
I was looking up some Percy Harvin stuff the other day. I forgot that he won Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2009.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about that. But Percy Harvin, man, he was a good player for Minnesota.
And now with how, like, marijuana is legal and everything in so many places, I don't see how that would be a problem for him, and he could have dominated if he wasn't a few years early.
And his style of play has caught up more with how the NFL uses smaller, gadgety type players as well, too.
You know what he was?
He could easily be Debo.
He was the better version, the better, smaller version of Cordero Patterson of what he should have been.
Oh, yeah.
He 100%. And he was just awesome. Jared Allen was on the Kay Adams show. Shout out. I love you so much. Thank you. He says on Justin Jefferson, $40 million a year. He goes, you give it to him. He changes the game. He opens up your run game and gives you the ability to score at any time. And he is a quarterback's best friend.
Okay. I
remember that because I asked you. I was like, at what point do you say no? Because that was the question I had for you after that.
That's right.
We were like 42? Where do you say no? And we didn't get anywhere near 42.
But you know what? It's fine because, like you said, whatever number is, I don't want to say it's arbitrary, but if they can maneuver this stuff, your point today, I'm gonna hang on this for a while. What does it do to your cap? Does it hamstring you? Are we doing the Drew Brees thing where we're going to pay him 5 years after he's gone? Don't do that. But if you can figure out a way.
I hate those dead money contracts. I hate that. Void years, it's all stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Stop kicking that can.
Yeah, don't kick the can down the road. But you pay a player like this. I'm going to say it for the millionth time. I'll try to make this the last time. Why would you trade a player like this for draft picks? Because you're not going to cut the player. I'm not going to cut Justin Jefferson. You're not going to get him for free. So you're going to trade him to try and hope that you get just as good of a player in the draft and hope that happens again. We all know by now, if you don't, I don't know what planet you're on, but the draft is a crapshoot. So, and you know what happened, Kyle? I'm going to throw you a call back. Adam, you'll love it too. You know what would happen because God hates this team and all this shit would happen? We would trade Justin Jefferson for, a first, a really good player. The player would come here and get injured, and then we would draft a wide receiver again, and we would end up with Laquan fucking Treadwell again. That's exactly what would happen.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
So college Treadwell didn't look that bad.
Yeah, that's the point, though. He didn't look bad. He was a big body. Like, I'm not saying he's DK Metcalf.
At the time, it was between him and like Josh Dotson, and neither of them really worked out.
But that's what the Vikings would do. They would get a high pick, and it would go to shit, and they would be like, "You guys are morons." But all these people now are like, "You should trade him." For what? For what reason? The only way.
I want to end the show with one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen.
I was going there. Go ahead.
Now, Smith, you are on TikTok, right? Every once in a while. West, I don't believe you are. But I was scrolling, and there was this video. It's a guy with a microphone. And he's talking to these two ladies. And he's like, if you can name 3 NFL players, I'll give you $100. One girl immediately, Tom Brady. It's like, okay. I get why you'd know Tom Brady off the bat. The second girl, snapped it instantly. Nelson Aguilar. It's like, what? She was insistent too. She was like, "You don't know who Nelson Aguilar is?"
Did she go at the end? She goes, "Go Birds." Did she say it just like that? Oh,
no.
Gross.
I just sat there. I was like, really? Out of all the NFL players, you pull Nelson Aguilar?
That's like with this dresser right here. I've got the thing. I was just moving stuff around, like hanging these lights up in here, and I found my scorecard from the Super Bowl experience, and it was like, we'll say your name. You come up and hold a Vikings jersey. You pick whatever team. You can pick your college and your position. So I'm from North Carolina. Like, all right, from the University of North Carolina. Long snapper, Kyle Smith, and I was like, "Damn right, I did." And you got to name the obscure people. Like for us, the first name that this is where my brain defaults through when I flip through the file. But they're like, "Name a random Viking." I'm like, Michael Jenkins. I just screamed Michael Jenkins so loud.
Marcus Sherrills,
dude, the punt return king. Why not?
Jarius Wright.
Oh, I always tend to go towards Ed White.
Yeah.
I like Ed White. One of the guys on my Vikings wish list to meet before, I don't have the opportunity anymore.
Gotta love Chad Greenway.
Yeah, I got to meet Chad Greenway a couple times. Once was at a weird Verizon event, and people just kept coming in and keep walking. Maybe it was AT&T, not Verizon. But yeah, I mean, it was such short notice that nobody was really there, so people just kept walking through the line, and it was great. Absolutely great.
Ben Lieber. I don't know if we're doing just draft picks or 1 year signings. We could say we're on the team. Now you can say former Viking Jalen Reagor.
Chris Hovan.
But do either of you guys still not remember Tony Richardson? Because I bring up that name and both of you guys always give weird looks.
I still don't know who that is.
I'm trying to think of that one guard Willie Beavers. Or no, yeah, that's his name,
yeah.
Willie Beavers. Oh, I was getting confused because I feel like I'm saying Willie Beamus from Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, see, Willie Beavers is a good one because I got a buddy whose last name is Beaver, so we made fun of him for that. He is a Vikings fan too, which is pretty cool. But we're gonna call our show here, and thank you to everyone who joined us in chat. We love having you guys here. You guys make the show so much better. And I just glanced over at chat and I saw someone write Percy Harvin. And I thought it said Paris Hilton. I'm ashamed.
Adam's losing his vision on the show. Holy shit. Oh, that's hot. Just remember that. That's hot.
But thanks again. Check us out wherever you see podcasts. You can see my work over on the Viking Age. Thanks again to everyone who helped make last month a good month for me over on the Viking Age with the Minnesota Vikings content. You can interact with me on social media at MNVikingZombie, wherever you absorb social media, I'm probably there.
Hell yeah, he is. Kyle West is on Blue Sky, which I still don't have, but follow him there.
You betcha. Over at Vaguely Square over on Blue Sky. Give me a
Also,
follow.
Kyle,
on
you need
Blue
to plug
Sky.
your stuff here for Instagram. I know you have a photography account, and I've been liking the shit out of those photos, man. You've been putting
Yeah, so
great
I
stuff
just got
over
an
there.
Instagram account set back up. You can give me a follow. I think it's Kyle West Photos is my handle. I'll get that situated and taken care of for next time.
Didn't you just do some pretty neat black and white work?
Yeah, I did. I just got a new camera that I'm taking out and getting used to
Because
shooting
I
with
saw
that
one
one.
that you did with bricks that I really liked.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, so I got my Instagram account that I'm going back up. I am working on a newer, better website. So this one that's up on the screen will be gone here shortly when I get the new one up and running. But this is going to have everything all funneled into one spot. Finally, you'll be able to get
Photography, pick fair, OnlyFans. You got it, dude.
Yeah,
Feed Finder.
You'll be able to get Purple People podcast merchandise. You'll be able to get anything else I want to put up there. Will all be underneath one website. I think the domain name that I'm going to buy is KyleWestPhotography.com.
There you go.
So do not be an asshole and buy that out from underneath me. If you do, you are no longer allowed.
I'm going to buy
on
it,
the
and you're going to have to bargain with me.
I will not.
Like all those people for the Commanders, they bought all the cool names, and they're like, you have a lot of money. How much is it worth?
And it turns out Dan Snyder said nothing.
Nothing. And he could have just kept football team, which was way better.
Yeah, football team was fine.
I like
football
that
team
so
grew
much.
on me.
Because it almost looked like if you had a brief 0.2 seconds of dyslexia, it almost looked like WTF on there. Like, oh, that's awesome.
Well, it kind of gave it that international feel with how soccer teams are always like, FC.
Yeah, of course. And
They
it being in our nation's
could've-
capital, that kind of thing.
They could have spruced it. They could have spruced it up to be Washington Football Club instead of team. That would have been a little more.
Just to fuck with the soccer fans, we're like, we're the Washington Football Club.
Right.
Just to troll the soccer fans. But
well,
really,
the other day I pulled a little experiment, and neither of you guys really cared, so it must not matter. Instead of using the term uniform, I used the soccer term kit, and neither of you guys corrected me, so I was okay with that.
I don't even remember this.
I don't give a shit.
Dude, yeah,
I don't care about soccer at all.
we
well, I posted the new Giants uniforms. I was like, "What do you guys think of these kits?"
Dude,
those are ugly.
But you can't do that to us because those things are so ugly and bad. I'm not going to focus on your sentence. My eyes just feel like I got acid thrown in them. I'm like, these are so bad. These look like prison uniforms.
They are not great.
Hey, for real though, there's mine. If you guys want to follow me, Instagram and X, I'm active on. I don't post a lot on TikTok, but it's all NC Dog Dude. I am very proud of both of these guys, and I want you guys to help them out. The Viking Age, but he had a great month last month. Adam did. Follow him here, and then Kyle West, the photography. So I'm glad to see you back on social media, man.
Thank you.
You guys both doing your thing. You're killing it. I love it. I just want to give you guys.
And this month is already off to a really good start, so keep me rolling, guys.
I'm going to click through some of your stuff too, but. Take us away, Adam. Good show, guys.
Yeah, thanks again to everyone. You can check out the full catalog of our shows on YouTube, Purple People Podcast, or you can check out individual shows, whatever podcasts I found. And in the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.